It's October 25th, 2017. The FBI are days away from capturing the woman who has scammed more than $4 billion. Just as they think they have her, she boards a plane in Sofia, Bulgaria, headed for Athens, Greece, a flight that takes exactly an hour and 15 minutes. Except when the plane lands, the woman is nowhere to be found. Just 7 months earlier, a Europol meeting is being held in The Hague, Netherlands. In attendance is the FBI, the US Department of Justice, and multiple police forces across Europe. Each of the officials evaluating documents from a file called Operation Satellite, bank accounts, investor records, and information about Ruja Ignatova, the founder of OneCoin. Ruja Ignatova seemed to have it all. A degree from Oxford, a PhD in law. She was smart, driven, and knew how to work her room. She lived like royalty, going to fancy parties and big events. People even called her the crypto queen. But Ruja had a dark secret. Her company, OneCoin, wasn't what it seemed. It promised to make people rich through crypto. Instead, it was all a lie, a huge scam that took billions from millions of people. But how did Ruja pull off such a massive scam? It all started with a simple promise: digital gold. OneCoin was sold as a new kind of digital money.
The growth of OneCoin, which I strongly believe will be the #1 cryptocurrency worldwide.
Ruja said it would be bigger than Bitcoin. The way OneCoin spread was smart. They used a system where people can make money by getting other people to join. Some of us know this as multi-level marketing, but simply put, it was a Ponzi scheme. But this setup made people excited to bring their friends in. The more people they brought in, the more money that they could make. It created this unmatched community feeling. But you didn't just buy OneCoin, you bought lessons about it too. These came with tokens to mine more coin. Events at OneCoin weren't just conferences, they were spectacles. This wasn't just business, it was a freaking movement. Thousands would show up to hear her speak. But she didn't just speak, she would go out there and make some pretty bold claims.
We will be the biggest out there and we will write history. And the cryptocurrency community will have to rewrite philosophy.
People at these events felt like they were a part of something big. They thought they were part of a money revolution. Many shared stories of how OneCoin changed their lives. And the company made big promises. They said that OneCoin was easy to use and could be spent anywhere. And of course, more and more people believed it.
And this is who we are, global citizens of a small world wanting to make a change.
The promise of easy money was hard to resist. They said you could make huge returns without doing much work. For many, it seemed like too good of an opportunity to pass up. The number of OneCoin users also grew really fast. At one point, they had over 3 million investors all across the world. People from all walks of life were getting involved, some putting their life savings in hopes of getting rich. But who was this woman behind this massive deception? Ruja Ignatova was not just another face in the crowd. She had a story that made people trust her. Ruja was born in Bulgaria, but she moved to Germany as a child. She was smart and driven from a young age. She received her PhD in law and graduated from Oxford University. These facts were key parts when she spoke to investors. When Ruja spoke, people listened. She had a way with words that made you want to believe her. But Ruja didn't just rely on words. She fed into the human psyche, using fear as a tool of selling. FOMO, making OneCoin seem like this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you didn't get in now, you'll be regretting it later. Ruja also knew how to look the part of a successful leader. She'd show up to events in fancy clothes and lots of jewelry. It gave off this impression that if she's rich, her idea must be working. At one large event in London, Ruja really put on a show. She came on stage to Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys.
Applause, please!
This girl is on fire!
Ruja, where are you?
And it was all part of the spectacle to make her seem more powerful and important to the rest of the people. To seem even more legit, Ruja used fake praise. She paid to be on the cover of Forbes Bulgaria. She spoke at events run by big names like The Economist, all for the sake of making OneCoin look as legitimate as possible. People who met Ruja were often impressed.
Ruja was a very interesting individual, very charming, very polite, very knowledgeable. she was a very nice person to work for.
This charm even helped her fool the smartest of people like bankers and lawyers. But as OneCoin grew, so did the number of questions. More and more people started to wonder if this entire thing was too good to be true. The pressure was building and police were starting to look into OneCoin. But Ruja kept telling everybody that things were fine. OneCoin was growing and things were going great. But behind the scenes, she knew that her time was running out. The crypto queen's reign was about to end, and nobody knew how far she would go to escape justice. But there was a problem, a big one. OneCoin wasn't a token at all. It didn't have a blockchain, the fundamental background for any major cryptocurrency. You couldn't trade OneCoin freely, and it only worked in their closed system. This should have been the first red flag. But most people didn't know enough about crypto at the time to see it. They blindly trusted Ruja and her team. And I mean, why wouldn't they? She seemed so smart and successful. But the truth was far from different. OneCoin wasn't making anybody rich except Ruja and her inner circle. They were raking in billions while their users chased an impossible dream. The OneCoin machine just kept on running. New members joined every day. Old members would recruit new members in hopes of climbing the pyramid. The promises got bigger, the events got flashier, but the clock was ticking for Ruja. Her lies were starting to catch up with her. More and more people start to ask more questions. Why couldn't they sell their OneCoins? Where was the blockchain? The answers just didn't add up. By 2017, the heat was on. Police officers from 10 different countries were all looking into OneCoin. They called it Operation Satellite. The FBI and the IRS were also in on the case. They all wanted to know what was really going on with Ruja's company. But Ruja wasn't going out without a fight. She had eyes and ears everywhere. Her former chief of intelligence and security officer, Frank Snyder, was the former chief of intelligence for Luxembourg. He would use his police and intelligence sources to feed Ruja information about ongoing investigations from police officials. And this made Ruja all the more calculated. She was thinking 5, 6 steps ahead before the FBI could even get a sniff. Her boyfriend at the time, Gilbert Armenta, was a pivotal part of building a case for the FBI. When Ruja got wind that Gilbert was working with the police, she bought the penthouse directly above his just so she could spy on him. She would record every single conversation with Gilbert and Gilbert as well in hopes of getting information back to the FBI. These conversations would go on for weeks until Gilbert let it slip that he was working with police officials. The phone clicks and Ruja went radio silent. Then on October 25th, 2017, something major happened. Ruja boards a Ryanair flight from Sofia, Bulgaria to Athens, Greece, the last that anyone has seen her. Gone without a trace. And so, our hunt for Ruja has officially begun.
Billions of pounds selling a fake cryptocurrency.
Top 10 most wanted list.
Ruja Ignatova is the world's most wanted woman.
Ruja vanished. Since 2017, police all around the world have been looking for the crypto queen. It's like she disappeared into thin air. In 2020, the FBI even stepped up their search. Not only did they put Ruja on their most wanted list, but they also are offering a $5 million reward for any information that would lead to the whereabouts of Ruja Ignatova. But where could she be? Some think that she's still alive, maybe hiding in plain sight, while others think that she met a much darker fate. Investigators found ties to links to Ukrainian government officials, people like the former president of Ukraine, Viktor Yanukovych. These companies ran deep, from England all the way to Dubai. The case took another turn when a British gangster was identified. Gary Murphy, a known British mobster, made threats about the OneCoin investigation. Records show that Gary Murphy was an enforcer for OneCoin as a debt collector and other really aggressive things. But there's more to the idea of Ruja being connected to the criminal underworld. One theory is absolutely chilling. Ruja is believed to have really deep ties to Bulgarian organized crime families. First, there was Krasimir Kamenov, or Kuro, a notorious Bulgarian mobster. Kuro was heavily linked to the murder of a police officer who had substantial evidence on the whereabouts of Ruja. But the ties to Kuro meant that there was a larger, more sinister person at play, the head of the Bulgarian crime family.
Taki is the head of the mafia in Bulgaria. He is extremely powerful. The political establishment and the mafia became one and the same thing.
In multiple reports, including the police evidence, show that people close to Taki's camp said that in 2018, he had her murdered and her body dumped in the Ionian Sea. This is a very strong possibility for somebody who may have known too much about the Bulgarian crime boss. But when it seemed like Ruja was never going to be found, a clue appears. In early 2023, a luxury penthouse in London raised a couple flags. New regulations forced the owners of the property to be listed, and guess who it was? Ruja herself. The discovery was huge. As investigative reporter Jamie Bartlett said, it suggests that she is still alive, and there are documents out there somewhere which contain vital clues as to her recent whereabouts. But the hunt for Ruja isn't over. Far from it. As the police close in, more of her allies are being caught. Some have been arrested and others have vanished, just like Ruja. Each new development bringing more questions. Who was involved? Where did the money go? And most importantly, where the hell is Ruja Ignatova? While Ruja vanished into thin air, the OneCoin saga was far from over. The hunt for the crypto queen left a trail of arrests, disappearances, and even murders in its wake. Let's start with Carl Sebastian Greenwood. Carl was Ruja's right-hand man and co-founder of OneCoin. He was identified as a top MLM distributor and made 5% of OneCoin's monthly sales. He exceeded $300 million in net earnings. A year after Ruja disappeared, Sebastian was on the run as well, but the law caught up with him on the island of Koh Samui in Thailand. A judge in New York slapped him with a 20-year prison sentence for money laundering and fraud. Then we have the interesting case of Ruja's brother, Konstantin Ignatova. He took over OneCoin after she disappeared, and this quickly proved to be a very big mistake. The FBI nabbed him in Los Angeles airport in 2019. He spent almost 3 years behind bars before being released early this year in March of 2024, but not without taking out some pretty key figures along the way. He testified against Mark Scott, the former OneCoin lawyer, who was convicted of money laundering $400 million and landed him 10 years in jail for the scheme. But here's where things get really, really dark. Do you remember Krasmir Kamenov or Kuro? His links to the Bulgarian crime family made him a very big target. And when you know too much, you become a liability. And that's exactly what happened. He ended up dead, shot in broad daylight in South Africa, along with his wife and 2 of his employees. Then we had the strange disappearance of Frank Schneider, Ruja's former intelligence officer. He was indicted in 2020 and was under house arrest for nearly 3 years. That was until May of 2023, when he was about to be extradited from French custody to the US, that he completely disappeared under the noses of French officials. His whereabouts remain unknown. But here's the kicker to all of this. While all of this drama unfolds, guess who gets to live it up? Taki's crew, reportedly all living in Bulgarian properties that were once owned and still owned by the at-large Ruja Ignatova. The penthouse clue that appeared in 2023 ended up being a false lead. It was later revealed that the property was listed by economic crime specialists from Germany, and that brings the hunt back to square one. So what does all of this mean? Well, it shows you how deep-rooted this OneCoin scam really was. It wasn't just about fake crypto. It was about crime bosses, spies, and a whole lot of dirty money. And at the center of it all, Ruja Ignatova, the crypto queen, somewhere out there, maybe? The story of Ruja and OneCoin is one for the history books. But there was another crypto scam that may have actually garnered way more attention than this story. Watch this video right here to see how Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX stole billions of dollars from their own customers. Thanks for watching.